So this is the final song breakdown from Diogenetic, the demo. Um, it's for Love Abridged, which I'm not a big love song guy, but I'm really not big into the whole mainstream media's um, expression of relationships and dating and the kind of like music and art that sort of supports that idealism, uh, and that's what the song's more so about. Um, so like when I was probably 13 years old. Yeah, it was quite a while ago, and I used to play the guitar riff for "Kiss Me" by Sixpence None the Richer, and I didn't know what it was. I just knew I'd heard it somewhere. Um, and I found out what it was, and I was like, really? But it's undeniably catchy, and it's from an artistic aspect, it's a good song, and I have nothing against it. But the ideals behind it and behind a lot of songs in that genre, or just the mainstream in general, they when you're a young boy and you grow up watching Disney movies and rom-coms and romance movies whenever it just happens, maybe you're hanging out with your mom, she's watching one of those movies, or some romantic comedies aren't bad. What is that, like 10 Things I Hate About You, or How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, or I don't know, shit like that. That ain't bad. It's pretty funny. And most movies have a romantic subplot. Um, but one thing like I bought into growing up is like, oh, women are just these beautiful creatures running through, you know, fields of flowers, and just want to be saved and protected and want their Prince Charming and all that crap. And if you, and I'm sure there's some women who out there who are like that, but for the most part, if you have that perspective of women, you want to be the knight in shining armor, you want to be the good guy, or save them, or I don't know, any of that shit. You you're gonna scrape your knees up a little bit, and you're gonna find out that women are just like men in almost all aspects, other than they're female. They'll lie to you, they'll cheat on you, they'll manipulate you, and men will do the same thing. I'm not just dogging on women. No, I'm attacking all ideals that place women up on pedestals in this song, and it's not that attitude is misunderstood as romantic a lot of times, when in the end it is damaging to equality. If there's women out there who expect you to act like a traditional male and be in your traditional gender role, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's not cool when you go out into the world and you just want to be a good guy and do the right thing, and you're doing all these things you were taught was what a good guy does, and yet you might end up with someone who's just venomous and wants to exploit you and take advantage of you because you're basically a mark to them, and they spend your money and walk all over you. And I know a lot of, like, when I was in the military, a lot of soldiers had to we called them wife magnets, and there were these women who would target soldiers just for the benefits, and then as soon as their husband left country, they were cheating on him behind his back and spending all his money. And it wasn't like, oh, some relationships just go bad. No, it was, they did it on purpose. They were, and they generally have a track record of doing things like that. And that's not on all women. That's just the individual person. But the song is trying to tear down at that ideal that you be that kind of guy and it's going to end well for you, because sadly most women who are looking for the savior type just want someone they can exploit. And I'm not saying to give up on that point of view. I'm just saying, arm yourself. That's what this song's about. So I try to make clear as often as I possibly can that I'm not tearing just at Kiss Me. it's tearing at the whole ideals that songs like that kind of get wrapped around or attached to. I've never really researched Kiss Me. I don't know what it was originally written about. And like I said, it's a good song. Nothing against it or Sixpence. Um, but, someone had to take a hit for the satire, and it was them. Some of the guitarists listening to this might notice a flanger on that guitar riff, and there's flanger throughout the song. But and I call it flanger because I always called it flanger. But I recorded this demo with an old school musician guy who was around before flangers, or when flangers became a thing. And I don't know how. You might want to look it up. It's kind of interesting, but they literally used a flanger to create or a flange to create this effect. And every time I said flanger around him, he corrected me like a grumpy old drill sergeant. I even made a remark one day. He's like, "Soldier, that is not a clip. It's a magazine." You got a laugh out of it. In the music video, which if you haven't checked it out and you're interested, please do. There's a part here where I'm seen texting on my phone. What I was really doing was queuing up the song for the music video because I didn't bring a speaker, and we shot the music video in a teen center basically, and there was people playing board games nearby, and it was already awkward and uncomfortable, but it was the best my cameraman could do on short notice. And so what I'm really doing is queuing up the song so that I can put it in the back of my hood. And at the end of the music video, you can see me pull it out of the back of my hood, but it was so that I could, actually shoot the video and pretend like I was singing and all that. But then I left it in the music video as a joke because the opening is over a minute long of music and no vocals, and it takes forever for the song to get going. And Scott, when we were recording this, it was our first song we recorded together, and he made a remark like, the song's like 6 minutes long, and he looked me in the eye and said, "Don't do that again." So, it was funny. I will never play this part live, the guitar. I'm up on the 12th fret, and I'm stretching my fingers way more than I like to. I have to sit down to play it, and I'm not doing it live. I'll play the other part. I'll either pay someone to play that part, or I'll just have it on a pre-recording. For what it's worth, this is the first song I learned to sing after deciding to be my own vocalist. And it was a motherfucker. So what I did right there is I took the harmonica part from Kiss Me and turned it into a more like downtrodden guitar part, and then go into a solo. And I didn't write this solo, I just, minus that part right there, I make it up as I go. You'll notice that the guitar solo, if you ever get the Casualties version of this song, the pre-studio, is much different, and there's parts I prefer more than the other, but I don't know how bands like Metallica do it. I hate sitting down writing guitar solos and sticking to them. Scott told me to take a deep breath and hold this note, if that's what you want to call it, so that it can flow into the chorus, which ended up sounding pretty cool. But this was a pretty long roar for me, I guess one could say, and I had to sit down, and it was the last thing we did for the day, and I couldn't do anything else. I was smoked. That's about it. I pretty much rushed through the song, a little long-winded at the beginning, but honestly, I've heard this song probably 400 times, more than the others, because it's the first one I've done a music video for. But thanks for checking this out.